Okay, folks, it's 7 o'clock, the appointed hour having arrived and a quorum being present. I'll call the special town meeting to order. We'll ask the town clerk to come forward to read the warning and the return.
To either of the constables of the town of Freetown, greeting. In the name of the Commonwealth, you are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Freetown who are qualified to vote in the elections and town affairs to meet at Freetown Lakeville Middle School, 96 Howland Road, Lakeville, Massachusetts, on Monday, the 24th day of February 2025 at 7 p.m., then and there to act on the following articles, viz. Warrant for the special town meeting, Town of Freetown, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Monday, February 24th, 2025, 7 p.m. Freetown Lakeville Middle School, Paul G. Kudo Auditorium, 96 Howland Road, Lakeville, Mass. 02347. And you are hereby directed to serve this warrant by posting and attesting copies thereof at the following places: the Assonet Post Office, the East Freetown Post Office, Junior's Convenience Store in Assonet, the Freetown Town Hall, Freetown Communications Center, and Freetown Fire Rescue Station Number 3. Hereof, fail not, and make return of the original warrant with your doings thereon immediately after making service thereof to the town clerk of the town of Freetown, Massachusetts, given under our hands and seal of the town of Freetown this 3rd day of February, Anno Domini 2025. Signed, the Town of Freetown Board of Selectmen, Trevor R. Matthews, Jared C. Zager, Carlos A. Lopes. February 6, 2025, to the town clerk, Town of Freetown, Massachusetts. I have this day posted attested copies of this warrant in the designated places described herein: in Assonet, the Assonet Post Office, Junior's Convenience Store, and the Freetown Town Hall; in East Freetown, the East Freetown Post Office, Fire Station Number 3, and the Freetown Communications Center. Signed, Chief Scott Rose.
All right, so before we get into the main town meeting business, everybody got handed one of these things on the lanyard before you walked in. You may remember about 18 months ago we voted to purchase these. These are electronic vote counters, or clickers they were sometimes called. And this is to make when we do hand-counted votes a little bit easier. So when we have 2/3 or 9/10, or some of the instances where the votes are very close, typically we call for a vote. We have a legion of people get up and walk up and down the aisles. Everybody's holding up tickets. This is meant to make that a little bit faster. Tonight, because these are new and different and everybody's getting used to them, we are going to use these for all 8 of the articles, just so that you can get a feel for how they work and so that we can see how they work. The easiest thing to try and think about when you are figuring out how these work is it's almost like Family Feud. If you remember, Richard Dawson stood there, right? We surveyed 100 people, top 5 answers on the board. We have 32 people here tonight, the last count that we had. So we take a survey of 32 people. The answers will show up on the board. Obviously, instead of the top 5 answers, it will only have yes and no. Each time that we take a vote, you'll have something like 10 or 15 seconds to vote. When that time expires, it will lock you out of making a change. And then the board will tell us. So they have provided us with a couple of sample questions, and one of them is, and you can see it on either screen on either side of the stage, do you think, will the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year? So now the voting is open. You can click yes or no on your clicker. This is just a test to see how it works. Okay, Cheryl says you can vote as many times as you want until the vote is closed. It will change your vote. That's a better way of saying that. You can vote once, but you can change what your vote is until the vote closes. So as you see, as people are pushing their buttons, it's changing the number on the screen. I just hit mine and it went to 42 from 41, which means that we have more than 32 people. That's good. Anytime. So it will close the vote, and now it gives you the total. There are 43 people in the room. 35 are realists and 8 are hopeful. So that's how the clickers work. And again, we'll use them tonight for all 8 of the articles just so that you can get used to them and get used to how they feel and how the result comes on. In the future, we'll use them selectively as we may need. Sure, there is another sample question queued up. So we'll try that one more time. Should the Fluffernutter be the official state sandwich? All in favor, all opposed? You can punch in your vote now. Okay. I said the standard time, we'll give about 10 or 15 seconds anytime that we have to do this. Sure. Okay, so out of 33 people who chose to weigh in on that question, 21 felt yes, 12 felt no. So again, that's how these things will work. This gentleman here is Sean. Sean is from the company that provides the clickers. He's here this evening just in case anything explodes and we need some help. Every voter should have received one when they walked in. What's the case? Last number I had heard was 32. Obviously, we're in the 40s now.
I will have to call them and check.
Tim's out in the hallway. Tim knows the number.
Nope, that was the last count.
Michael, do you want to ask if any voters do not have one?
That's a fair question. Is there anybody here who's a voter who did not receive a clicker? So all the voters should have clickers? No? All right. Looks like we do.
Quorum is 25.
The quorum is 25. The best laid plans of mice and men. Oh, we know from before it was at least 43.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Normally I just wait until they get.
So what? 47 is the number of people who have checked in so far this evening. 47.
47, that's like.
And just so you know, at the end of that 15 seconds, the number may not come out to 47. That would be equivalent to if somebody had chosen not to vote if we were doing a voice vote. So, all right, just the general information we go through at the beginning of every meeting. Please silence your cell phones if you have not already. Nobody should speak until recognized by the moderator. If you do wish to speak tonight, the microphone is down in that corner. You did still receive a vote ticket. Mine is buried under my clicker right now, but when you come up, just carry that with you so we know that you're a voter. And all articles this evening will be funded from free cash unless otherwise specified. And with that, we will move on with Article 1. Article 1, to see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds the sum of $1,173.94 for the purpose of paying past due balances for 2 bills for Comcast Business from fiscal year 2024 and/or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the Building Department. It requires a 9/10 vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion is made and seconded to adopt Article 1 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 1? Hearing none, now would be the time. The voting will open. Hit on your clicker. Yes for aye, no for nay. We'll have 15 seconds. Pretty much. Sure. Okay, survey says 39 yes, 5 no. Article 1 is adopted by the majority. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to transfer. Whoops. It failed.
You need the 9/10.
Did it? Oh, geez, yeah, that's right. Article 1 has failed. I tapped the podium and the light came on. That's frightening. The question was asked, what do you do? If the article does not pass by the 9/10 vote, we cannot pay those 2 bills. So now this works.
For reconsideration.
Yeah, this works just like normal if somebody would like to reconsider it. Otherwise, we move on to Article 2. Motion is made and seconded to reconsider. I'm just going to do this by vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Article 1, once again, would somebody like to make a motion on Article 1? Make a motion to accept it as read. Second. Motion is made and seconded to accept Article 1 as read. Any discussion this time? Hearing none, with your clickers, yes or no, please. Article 1 again. Yes. calculator out. All right. Some new information, yes. The top bar here apparently will change color if it fails. Okay, this time it passed. This time it passed 34-2. Okay. Anybody like to try for a third time? No, all right. Article 2. To see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds the sum of $15,000 for the purpose of upgrading technology software system for the communication system and establishing a town-wide telephone networking system for direct communication among all town government buildings and or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the police chief. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion is made and seconded to accept Article 2 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 2? Hearing none, to the clickers. Okay, so we see Article 2, more people are in favor of this than of the other one. 40 said yes, 4 said no. Article 2 is adopted by the majority. In Article 3, there is a small amendment. I'm going to read the article with the amendment. I'll point it out when that happens. And then we will ask for a motion to adopt the article as amended. Article 3 is to see if the town will vote to amend the town's general bylaws, tax title payment plans, as approved by vote of the June 3rd, 2024 annual town meeting under Article 23, and currently being assigned a chapter and section as on designation as part of the town's bylaw recodification process, as set forth below, and or take any action relative thereto. In section C1, by deleting therefrom the strike-through language as follows, comma, and the recording date of instrument of taking recorded in the Bristol County Registry of Deeds must be no more than 10 years from the date of the proposed agreement. In section D2, by deleting therefrom the strike-through language and inserting in place thereof the bold underlined language as follows, which amounts to striking all of the existing number 2 and adding in its place, and this is where the amendment will be, the payment agreement shall not include a waiver of the interest that has accrued in the tax title account prior to execution of the agreement, but shall include a waiver of 50%. The words up to are being struck. A waiver of 50% of the interest that accrues during the term of the agreement, but only if the taxpayer fully complies with the terms of the agreement. No taxes or collection costs may be waived. And finally, in section D3, by deleting the strike-through language and inserting the bold, underlined language as follows, which is to reduce the amount of the down payment amount from 25% of the taxes owed to 10% of the taxes owed. This was submitted by the Treasurer-Collector. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article, and again, we are looking for a motion on the amended form of the article. Motion has been made and seconded to adopt Article 3 as amended, which once again struck those words up to from in front of 50%. Is there any discussion on Article 3? Seeing none, please go to the clickers for your aye or nay, yes or no. Okay, the voting is closed. 37 yes, 7 no. Article 3 is adopted by the majority. Article 4, to see if the town will vote to transfer from available funds the sum of $350,000 for the design, engineering, construction, installation, and any related costs and expenses thereto, to run fiber strands between all of the town-owned buildings, and or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the Board of Selectmen. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion is made and seconded to adopt Article 4 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 4? Yes.
Ron Cloutier, Sonnet. I'm just wondering, does that 350,000 represent a number of bids received on that amount, or is that was that the lowest bid received for that payment?
Okay, so we have
So we have had quotes on this. We haven't put it out to bid because we don't have the funding as of yet. I'm in the process of getting the documents together to go out to bid. I have a quote of about $650,000. I got a grant for $335,000, and this is the amount of money that I think, we will need to get the project done, but it will be going out to bid soon.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions or discussion on Article 4? Okay, hearing none. Again, the motion was to adopt as read. Please go to your clickers, yes or no. Okay. Cheryl tells me we are up to 49 registered voters at this point who have checked in, and Article 4 passes 41-7. Article 5, to see if the town will vote in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5K, to increase the amount of tax credit a senior may receive from the Senior Work-Off Program from $1,500 to $2,000 annually, and/or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the Council on Aging Director. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion has been made and seconded to adopt Article 5 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 5? Hearing none, please take up your clickers. A fun fact, because somebody did ask this question before, the clickers are in no way connected to the internet, and they can in no way identify who voted how. They are totally anonymous, and they are somehow confined within this room. Okay, Article 5 has been adopted by the majority, 45-1. Article 6, to see if the town will vote in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 59, Section 5N, to adjust the exemption as allowed by Option 2 of the last paragraph thereof, to allow the maximum reduction of the real property tax bill for a veteran enrolled in the Veterans Work-Off Program to be based on 125 volunteer service hours in a given tax year rather than $1,500, and/or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Assessors. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion is made and seconded to adopt Article 6 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 6? Sure.
Ron Cloutier, Sonnet again. I'm just wondering, why not you just make it the same as the senior one to $2,000?
At the current time, the law allows the seniors to go up to $2,000. It allows the veterans to go up only to 125 hours.
125 hours?
Yeah. So it works out to about
There's a lot of
$1,875.
cities and towns out there that do $2,500 flat reduction to real estate taxes for veterans. So I'm just wondering if there's a way to kind of make that similar as other towns do.
I'm not aware of the specific towns you're talking about, but this is what is allowed by statute.
Okay. I'm just,
Something that can be looked into, though,
Yeah.
for sure. Is there any additional discussion on Article 6? Hearing none, please take to the clickers. Okay, Article 6 is adopted unanimously. Article 7, to see if the town will vote to amend that section of the town's general bylaws currently found in Article 3, Section 3-2N, and proposed to be placed in the town's recodified bylaws at Chapter 43, Section 43-2N, to increase the threshold at which the Board of Selectmen can sell or auction personal property with the strike-through text deleted and the bold underlined text inserted as follows, and the resulting bylaw would read, N, the Board of Selectmen is authorized to sell on behalf of the town and without vote of the town any and all personal property belonging to the town which it determines is no longer needed by the town at public auction or private sale, upon such terms as it deems proper, provided the fair market value of such property does not exceed the sum of $25,000, which replaces $5,000, and provided further that if the fair market value exceeds $10,000, which replaces $2,000, The sale of said property shall be by public auction and/or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by the Board of Selectmen. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee recommends this article. Motion is made and seconded to adopt Article 7 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 7? Hearing none, please take your clickers. Okay, 3, 2, 1. And Article 7, is adopted by the majority, 43 to 5. Article 8, the final one. To see if the town will vote in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 269, Section 10, subsection K2I, as inserted by Section 124 of Chapter 135 of the Acts of 2024, to exclude the administrative buildings owned, leased, or under the control of the municipal government of the town of Freetown and used for the purpose of government administration, including any part of the buildings, grounds, or parking areas thereof, from the definition of prohibited area, and/or take any action relative thereto. This was submitted by petition. It requires a majority vote. The Finance Committee takes no position on this article. Motion is made and seconded to adopt Article 8 as read. Is there any discussion on Article 8? Hearing none, please take up your clickers. Okay, voting is closed. Article 8 is adopted by the majority, 30-15. That comes to the end of the actual meeting. Is there anybody who has a question about the clickers before we go? Yes, Bob?
If there are 45 clickers up and only 43 vote, if I click mine twice, does it take up that extra vote?
It does not. It will only, you can change your vote, yes or no, until the voting closes, but you cannot count more than one vote. One person, one vote. Do we have any extra questions, any additional questions about the clickers before we adjourn? All right, Cheryl's asking to remind you, please drop your clickers in the blue box on your way out. With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Motion's made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? All opposed? One opposed. We are adjourned at 7:24. Thank you for coming out this evening.